The sun had not yet fully risen, but Seyi was already out of bed. His room was small, just enough space for a mattress on the floor and an old wooden chair. His mother, Mama Seyi, was already boiling water in the corner of the room. She looked tired, but she smiled when she saw him. "Good morning, my son," she said softly. "Good morning, Mama," Seyi replied, rubbing his eyes. He washed his face quickly and got dressed. His school shirt was a little torn at the collar, but it was clean. He wore it with care. After a quick breakfast of pap and akra, Seyi picked up a tray of plantain chips. He balanced it on his head like he had done many times before. Before school, he had to help his mother sell chips to make some money. Life in Lagos was hard, but Seyi had big dreams. As he walked through the noisy streets, Seyi called out, "Buy your hot, sweet plantain chips." Buses honked. People rushed past. But Seyi kept his voice loud and his steps fast. He had to sell as much as he could before school started. When the tray was empty, he ran to school. His shoes were worn out, but he didn't care. Seyi loved school. He was the best in his class. Math and science were his favorites. But what he loved most was computers. At night, he would borrow a neighbor's phone. He didn't use it to play games like other boys. Seyi used it to learn coding. He had taught himself how to build small apps. One day, he dreamed of building something big, something that could change his life. But for now, he had chips to sell, books to read, and dreams to chase. After school, Seyi sat on the steps outside his house. His school bag rested beside him, heavy with books. The day had been long, but he still had energy. He brought out the old, cracked phone that his neighbor, Uncle Teo, let him borrow sometimes. The phone had a broken screen, and the battery didn't last long, but Seyi treated it like gold. He waited until Uncle Teo returned from work and handed it over with a smile. "You have 1 hour, Uncle Teo said. Don't finish my data." Seyi nodded quickly. "Thank you, sir." He rushed inside and sat on the floor. His eyes sparkled as he opened the browser. He had found a free website that taught coding in simple steps. He was now learning how to build a mobile app. The screen flickered, but Seyi didn't stop. His fingers moved fast. He typed code and fixed errors. He read every word carefully. He was building a small game about collecting coins while running through Lagos streets. His younger sister, Bola, watched him. "Why do you always do this thing?" she asked. "Because one day," Seyi said, still looking at the phone, "I'll make something that everyone will want to use. I'll make an app that changes lives." Bola giggled. "Will it make us rich?" Seyi smiled. "Maybe. But even if it doesn't, I want to build something real. Something I made with my own hands." The phone beeped. Low battery. He had 10 minutes left. He saved his work quickly and closed the app. Another small step was done. His dream was still far away, but Seyi felt proud. Outside, the street was loud. Inside, a boy was building a future, one line of code at a time. The next morning, Seyi stood at the school gate, holding his notebook. He always arrived early. While waiting, he liked to sit under the big mango tree beside the fence. It was peaceful there, and he could go over his coding notes before classes started. As he sat and flipped through his book, a soft voice called out, "You and this your computer book." He looked up and smiled. It was Ada. Ada was one of the few people in school who talked to Seyi kindly. Most of the other students teased him for selling chips and wearing old clothes. But Ada always treated him with respect. She was smart too, especially in English and writing. She had big brown eyes and always wore her hair in neat braids. "I'm learning something new," Seyi said. "It's called JavaScript. It helps me make my app do more things." Ada sat beside him and looked at his notebook. "It looks hard," she said. "It is," Seyi said with a laugh. "But it's fun. I believe in you, Seyi," she said. "One day, you'll be a great programmer." His cheeks grew warm. He didn't know what to say, so he just smiled and looked down at his book. Just then, the school bell rang. Students rushed in through the gate. Some pushed past them, not even saying sorry. But Seyi didn't care. At that moment, all he felt was the warmth of Ada's words. As they walked toward the classroom together, Seyi felt something new in his chest. It was soft, quiet, and strong, like hope mixed with something else. He didn't know it yet, but Ada was going to be a big part of his story. It was a hot afternoon after school. The sun shone brightly on the school walls, making everything look golden. Seyi was on his way out when he saw a small crowd gathered near the school notice board. Curious, he walked over to see what was happening. Startup challenge for secondary schools, the notice read in bold letters. Seyi's eyes widened. He read the words again and again. The poster said students could enter with a business or tech idea. The winner would get prize money, a laptop, and a chance to join a youth tech camp in Abuja. The deadline was in 2 weeks. His heart beat faster. This was it. This was the chance he had been waiting for. He took out his notebook and wrote down the details. Around him, other students were already talking and laughing about it. Some were joking about ideas like rice-selling apps or fufu delivery. Seyi didn't say a word. He just thought about his running game app. It still had many bugs, but he could fix them. He could add more features. Maybe he could even turn it into something useful, not just fun. Ada walked up beside him. "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" she asked. Seyi looked at her, surprised. "You want to enter too?" She nodded. "I've been working on a reading app idea for kids. Maybe we could help each other." Seyi smiled. That sounded like a good plan. The school bell rang again, and the students slowly left the board. But Seyi stayed a little longer, staring at the notice. For the first time in a long while, he felt like his dream wasn't just a dream anymore. It could really happen. That night, Seyi told his mother about the startup challenge while helping her pack chips for the next day. They sat on the floor of their one-room home, folding small paper bags and sealing them with rubber bands. "Mama, there's a competition at school," Seyi said. "If I win, I can get money, a laptop, and maybe travel to Abuja." Mama stopped folding for a moment. Her eyes were tired, but kind. "Abuja," she said slowly. "That's far, my son." "I know," Seyi said, "but it's a chance. I can build something. Something big." Mama looked at him for a long moment, then said, "Seyi, you are a good boy. You have a big brain, I know. But I worry. These kinds of things, sometimes they bring disappointment." Seyi kept folding. "I have to try, Mama. If I don't, I never know." She nodded quietly. "I don't want your heart to break, that's all." He smiled. "My heart is strong, Mama. You made it that way." They finished packing the chips. Seyi lay on his mattress later, staring at the dark ceiling. He could hear cars in the distance and voices from neighbors outside. But in his mind, all he saw was the notice on the school board and the dream of holding his own laptop. He picked up his notebook and started writing ideas. His app would be more than a game. It would teach kids how to save money while playing. It would be fun, but also helpful. As he drifted off to sleep, one thought filled his head: this is my chance. I won't waste it. Seyi started staying up later than usual. Every night, after helping Mama and doing his homework, he would take out the cracked phone and work on his app. He sat by the small window, using the moonlight to see his notebook. The game he was building was called Lagos Runner. In the game, the player had to run through busy streets, dodge okada, jump over downfall buses, and collect coins. But the twist was this. Each coin came with a small money lesson. Like how to save, how to budget, and why spending wisely was important. He wanted kids to play and learn at the same time. But it wasn't easy. The phone froze sometimes. The screen didn't always work. And the code had many errors. One wrong line could make the whole game stop working. Still, Seyi didn't give up. Ada would help him during break time at school. She had ideas for better game stories and even helped write the short lessons in fun, simple words. They laughed a lot while working. It felt like their small team was building something special. One night, the power went out completely. There was no light, and the phone battery was already low. Seyi sat in the dark, frustrated. He looked at the sky through the window. Why is it always hard? He whispered. But then he thought of Ada's words, I believe in you. He smiled and wrote more ideas in his notebook by candlelight. The phone could wait. The light might be gone, but his dream was still bright inside him. In the silence, Seyi made a promise, no matter what, I will finish this app. One afternoon after school, Ada told Seyi to follow her. I want to show you something, she said, smiling. It's my quiet place. They walked through a narrow alley beside the school, past a row of old houses. At the end was a small garden behind the church. There were trees, flowers, and a bench made from wood. It was quiet, peaceful, and full of sunlight. This is where I come to write, Ada said. She took out a small book from her bag. These are my stories and poems. Seyi sat beside her. I didn't know you wrote so much. I want to be a writer one day, she said. I want to tell stories that help people see beauty, even in hard places. Seyi nodded slowly. That's what I want to do too, with coding. Make things that help people, not just make money. Ada looked at him and smiled. Then we're the same. They sat there for a long time. Seyi showed her more about the game. She gave him ideas for new levels, like a traffic jam level or a rainy day challenge. Ada even offered to write the little messages that would pop up after each level. They were building something real, together. As they left the garden, Ada said, Don't let anyone tell you this dream is too big. Seyi looked at her, surprised. How did you know I was worried? I see it in your eyes, she said softly. But I also see something else, fire. And that fire will take you far. That evening, Seyi wrote in his notebook, Ada believes in me. I have to believe in me too. And with that, he walked home with hope in his heart. On Saturday morning, Seyi helped his mother at the market as usual. They had a small corner by the gate where they sold plantain chips. Mama arranged the chips while Seyi held the basket, calling out to passers-by. But this morning was different. A group of older boys, known troublemakers, stood nearby. They sold phone accessories and often chased away small traders. One of them, Kola, walked up to Seyi. You're still selling chips, genius boy. Kola mocked. I heard you want to build a big app. Do you think small boys from the street can become rich? Seyi tried to stay calm. Everyone has a right to dream. Kola laughed loudly. Dreams don't feed bellies. Get sense, boy. Mama looked up from her seat. Leave my son alone, she said, frowning. But Kola didn't go. He kicked one of the baskets, and some chips fell to the ground. Seyi's hands tightened into fists, but he didn't fight back. Instead, he bent down and picked up the chips one by one. The sun burned hot on his back. People passed by, but no one said a word. Later, when Kola finally walked away, Seyi sat down beside his mother. He felt small and angry. I'm tired, Mama, he said. Tired of being looked down on. Mama touched his arm gently. Seyi, they laugh now because they don't see what I see. But one day, they will clap for you. He looked at her and nodded slowly. That night, Seyi opened his notebook and wrote a new game level, Escape the Bullies. It would teach kids to stay calm, stay focused, and never let others stop them. The game was becoming more than a game, it was becoming his voice. The next week, Seyi hit a big problem. No data. Uncle Teo, who usually let him borrow his phone, had used up his data bundle. Sorry, Seyi, he said. Maybe next month. Seyi felt his chest sink. Without the internet, he couldn't test the game or watch the coding tutorials. He stared at the phone in his hand, helpless. He walked slowly back to his house. The street was busy, full of shouting traders and honking cars, but Seyi felt alone. He sat on the steps, the dusty wind brushing his face. Ada passed by on her way home and saw him sitting there. What's wrong? She asked. No data, Seyi said. I can't work on the app. Ada frowned. Can't you buy some? He shook his head. No money. We used everything for food this week. Ada thought for a moment, then opened her small bag. She pulled out a 500 naira note. Take this, she said. Use it for data. Seyi's eyes widened. No, Ada. That's too much. She smiled. It's not. My aunt gave it to me for snacks. But this is more important. Seyi took the money slowly. Thank you. I'll pay you back. You already have, Ada said. With your friendship. Later that night, Seyi loaded the data. The app finally opened, and everything worked. He fixed bugs, added Ada's new story messages, and made the coins sparkle when collected. He looked at the phone and whispered, "Thank you, Ada." He didn't just mean for the money. He meant for believing in him, for standing beside him, and for reminding him that even in hard times, kindness makes the dream move forward. Monday morning came, and Seyi walked into class with his notebook full of updates. Ada waved him over as soon as she saw him. They sat together in their usual spot by the window. I added new messages to the game, Seyi said. After each level, the player gets a money tip. Like, save before you spend, and don't buy what you don't need. Ada clapped quietly. That's smart. Kids will learn without even knowing they're learning. Seyi grinned. I call it play and learn. They looked at each other and laughed. But then, something changed in Seyi's eyes. He turned serious. Ada, what if this game becomes more than just a school project? What do you mean? She asked. What if we turn it into a real startup? Not just a school challenge, but a real business. Something we can grow together. Ada blinked. Are you serious? Seyi nodded. I've been thinking about it all weekend. There are so many kids like us in Lagos. They love games. But many don't know how to save money. This game can teach them. And later, we can build more apps that solve real problems. Ada stared at him, quiet for a moment. Then she smiled slowly. Seyi, that's a real idea. Not just a game. A mission. They bumped fists gently. At that moment, their small dream started to grow wings. It wasn't just about winning the competition anymore. It was about building something real, something that could change lives. In that classroom, two teenagers dreamed big. The noise around them faded. The only thing they could hear was the sound of possibility. During lunch break, Seyi and Ada sat under the mango tree, talking about their app. They knew they needed to register their entry for the competition soon. One thing was missing, a team name. We can't just be Seyi and Ada, Seyi said, laughing. We need something cool. Something that shows what we are about. Ada nodded, chewing on a biscuit. What about something with Lagos in it? Since that's where the game takes place. Lagos learners. Lagos coders. Seyi thought aloud. Ada shook her head. Too plain. They sat quietly for a minute. Then Seyi's eyes lit up. What about code chop? Ada tilted her head. Code chop. Yeah. Seyi said, excited. Like chop in Niger slang, eat. So, the idea is, you're eating or gaining knowledge as you play. Code chop, play, learn, grow. Ada grinned. That's actually really good. They high-fived, proud of their new name. Ada pulled out a pen and started sketching a simple logo in Seyi's notebook, coins, a phone, and a small lightning bolt for power. That looks amazing, Seyi said. We can add it to the game loading screen. Just then, their teacher, Mr. Okoro, walked by and saw the drawings. You two are always cooking something, he said with a smile. Yes, sir, Seyi said proudly. We are entering the startup competition. Mr. Okoro nodded. Good. Just make sure you don't forget your exams are coming too. Yes, sir, they both said at once. As the bell rang and they returned to class, Seyi felt a fire inside him. Not only did they have a dream, they now had a name. A team. A goal. Code Chop was more than a project now. It was their future. Seyi and Ada knew they needed more internet to keep testing and updating their game. Uncle Teyo's data wasn't always available and buying data every week wasn't possible. That's when Seyi got an idea. What about the school's Wi-Fi? He whispered during break. Ada looked surprised. We don't have access to that. Seyi grinned. Not officially. But remember what I told you about networks and IP addresses? Ada laughed. You mean you can get in? Not hack, Seyi said quickly. Just connect using the open guest channel. It's hidden, but it's there. After school, they stayed behind. Most students had gone home. Seyi walked quietly near the computer lab and stood behind the wall where the signal was strongest. He turned on the cracked phone and opened a small code app. Ada stood watch. Almost there, he whispered. He tapped and typed, checking for open networks. After a few tries, the phone buzzed. Connected. Ada gasped. It worked. They sat under the staircase and opened the app. Seyi uploaded a new version of the game to his online folder. Ada tested the levels while he fixed the coin timing and added new sound effects. This level is too hard, Ada said, laughing. Even I can't pass it. Good, Seyi said. We want it fun, not boring. As the sun began to set, they packed their bags and left quietly. No one saw them. But they had done something big. They had found a way to keep building even when things seemed impossible. Seyi looked at Ada as they walked. Nothing can stop us, right? Not if we keep using our brains, she replied with a smile. And with that, CodeChop took another step forward, powered by courage, cleverness, and just a little Wi-Fi magic. The next part of the competition required something even bigger than coding, a written pitch. Each team had to explain their idea clearly, what their app was, who it would help, and how it would grow. The paper had to be printed and sent to the judges by the end of the week. Seyi stared at the blank sheet of paper on his desk after school. How do I even start? You explain it like a story, Ada said, sitting beside him. Tell them why this app matters, and who it's for. Seyi nodded. Okay. I'll say. Our game, Lagos Runner, teaches kids money lessons in a fun way. It's made for children in busy cities like Lagos, where street smart and money sense are important. Ada smiled. That's a strong beginning. They worked on the pitch together for hours in the small church garden. Ada helped make the sentences smooth. Seyi added words like impact, education, and the future growth. They included their plan to add more levels, more languages, and maybe even local voiceovers later on. We can even partner with schools, Ada added. So teachers can use the game during class. Seyi wrote it all down in neat handwriting. When they finished, they both sat back and looked at the paper. It feels real now, Ada said softly. Like this is more than just a dream. Seyi nodded. We are not just building an app. We are building our future. The next morning, they borrowed 100 naira from Mama to print the pitch paper at a small cyber cafe. Seyi held it carefully, like it was treasure. That afternoon, they submitted it to their teacher, heart pounding. CodeChop was officially in the race. The next day at school, news spread quickly. The final list of entries for the startup challenge had been posted. Everyone rushed to the notice board to see who made it. Seyi and Ada walked over slowly, their hearts racing. A crowd had already gathered, whispering and pointing. There. Look, CodeChop, someone said. Seyi's eyes found the name, Team CodeChop, Seyi and Ada, Lagos Runner app. He felt light, like he could fly. We made it, he whispered. Ada smiled. We really did. But just as they were about to leave, they heard laughter behind them. CodeChop, a tall boy named Deo, sneered. He was in SS3 and known for always looking down on juniors. What kind of name is that? You think playing games would take you to the top? His friends laughed. They're just wasting their time, one of them added. This competition is for real tech minds. Not children with pipe dreams. Seyi's chest tightened. He looked at Ada, waiting to see if she would walk away, but she didn't. She looked at the boys calmly. At least we're trying, she said. That's more than most people do. The group laughed again, but Ada grabbed Seyi's arm and pulled him away. In the quiet of the hallway, Seyi sighed. Maybe they're right. We are just kids. What if we fail? Ada looked at him seriously. And what if we fly? Seyi was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled. You're right. No more doubt. We didn't come this far just to stop now. That evening, Seyi opened his notebook and wrote one word at the top: believe. Because believing was the first step to doing the impossible.